Join the fight, treat your heart right. This is one of the many slogans that is used by the American Heart Health Awareness Association. Hello, my name is Karina Rodriguez, and today I will be presenting to you about heart disease. Heart disease cases are constantly occurring around the world, and I think it is time to shed light on this topic. As the website article Heart Disease and Family History, published by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention on June 2nd, 2017, on cdc.gov states that heart disease is the leading cause of death and disability all around the world. In the US alone, heart disease kills about 647,000 of Americans. Heart disease cases are constantly occurring, and I think that by learning a bit more about it, we may be able to help prevent it for everyone. Which is why today I will be going over what heart disease is, how it affects society, and lastly, how its current and future status as well as preventions for it. Heart disease is nothing new and has been happening ever since the Egyptian times. Heart disease includes any kind of disease which involves the heart. Several diseases and conditions fall under the umbrella of heart disease. To include a few: arrhythmia, which is when the heart beats at an irregular pace; atherosclerosis, which is the hardening of the arteries; cardiomyopathy, which affects the heart muscle and makes it much harder for heart to pump blood all over through your body; congenital heart disease, which affects the heart irregularities that are present since birth, which is the most common birth defect in the world; heart infections; and lastly, coronary artery disease, which is caused by a plaque buildup in the wall of the arteries that supply blood to your heart, which is the most common type of heart disease. According to a website article about heart disease published by the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention on January 13, 2021 on cdc.gov states, sometimes heart disease may be silent and not diagnosed until a person experiences signs of symptoms such as a heart attack, heart failure, or arrhythmia. Most commonly, heart disease are more likely in people over the 50s, but sometimes it could be genetic. There are also many risk factors that may result in someone acquiring heart disease. The top 3 risk factors are high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and smoking, which in fact 47% of Americans tend to have at least one of those factors. Several other medical conditions and life choices of heart disease also raise the risk of being able to achieve a heart disease, such as diabetes, obesity, an unhealthy diet, and excessive use of alcohol. Furthermore, I will now reveal how heart disease affects our society. Without a doubt, heart disease affects our society in a negative way. As the website article Heart Disease, Facts, Statistics, and You by John Thomas, published on June 16, 2020 on Healthline.com states, heart disease are responsible for more deaths worldwide for both men and women of all races. As of 2018, 30.3 million of U.S. adults were diagnosed with heart disease, and 647,000 Americans die from it every year, making it the leading cause of death in the United States alone. Heart disease causes every 1 in 4 deaths, and approximately every 40 seconds, someone in America will receive a heart attack. About 805,000 of Americans receive a heart attack every single year, and 605,000 of those will have a heart attack for the first time ever. A statistic shows that about 12% of people who have a heart attack will die from it, which means that from those 805,000 people who receive a heart attack every year, about 96,600 of them will die from it. Some people will get affected until a year later, or more. About a year later from having a heart attack, about 26% of women and 19% of men will die within a year, will die from a heart attack. And by 5 years of having a heart attack, almost 50% of women and 36% of men will either die, develop heart failure, or have a stroke. So undoubtedly, heart disease is a detriment and does not seem to be getting any better in our society. Moreover, both current and future statuses of heart disease imply that it will not be getting any better. Website article Heart Disease is the world's #1 killer, published by Robert Prate, on December 10, 2020 on WebMD.com states, heart diseases account for 1/3 of deaths in 2019, and the death toll continues to rise. Heart disease cases nearly doubled from time period of 1990 to 2019, from 271 million cases of heart disease in 1990 to 523 million in 2019. Also, the number of heart disease deaths are also rising, from 12.1 million in 1990 to 18.6 million in 2019. The majority of heart disease deaths were attributed to ischemic and strokes. And this number seems to be rising daily and seems to not be getting any better any sooner. It is said that in the future years, heart diseases will be growing exponentially because of the current COVID-19 virus. According to report authors who examined 30 years of heart disease data, state that countries need to create cost-effective public health programs to reduce disease and risk through behavioral changes. Although heart disease is very common, it is still very preventable for many of us, such as eating healthy, regular exercising, keeping cholesterol under control, maintaining a healthy weight, managing stress, managing diabetes, limiting alcohol, not smoking, and lastly, getting enough sleep. Many of these factors we already do, but I hope now you really understand why it is so important to be following these rules for ourselves. Many are affected by heart disease daily, but as doing as much as you can do to prevent it, you may be able to prevent yourself from getting any kind of heart disease ever. Today, I went over what heart disease is, how heart disease affects society, its current and future status, as well as ways to prevent it. I hope today you're able to take something with you, any piece of information that I talked about with you today. And remember that heart disease is constantly occurring every single day all around us. So remember that it's always important for you to take care of your own health as well as someone else's health, because you can prevent heart disease for yourself as well as for others. And always remember, you have only one heart, so make sure that you give it all your attention to its well-being. Thank you.